Hey guys, this is Liz Evans of Wellspring Vitality and Hands-On Bodyworks. If you'd like to find more videos like this, you're going to need to check out both Wellspring Vitality and handsonbodyworks.com. These are videos that are all about restorative movement, and today we're doing rib rescue. Now, this is something that's really needed for during the winter when we start to shovel snow, or even in the spring, summer, when you're out there and you get out there on some of those big projects and you just really start killing it, but you haven't warmed yourself up. If you will do the rib rescue every once in a while, just to keep things together, or if you've got a lot of rib pain, this is one way that you can help to remediate that. So here we go. Rib rescue and remediation, baby. All right, I'm gonna find a comfortable spot here on the floor, and you can do some of this rib work while you are upright, but it really works best on the floor. Let me bring this camera down a little bit. All right, so here we go. So you're gonna be on the floor, relaxed. And what we're gonna start with first is lifting that pubic bone for the sky. Taking a nice deep breath in, and lift a little higher. I always need to have a horn section. I'm usually my own horn section. And we do stuff like this all the time in core transformation. So just lifting, and we're just gonna move the ribs. I want you to really become aware here of the ribs, and we're gonna hold here, take a deep breath, and push into those ribs, push. Bring in more air, push even more into the rib cage, expanding. Push through the head, and then slowly and gently release. Now, what did we just do there? I want you to be really aware in your mind of what we're actually doing here. So just while I'm talking, why don't you follow me? Let's just open up. This is opening up the side body here. But I want to talk to you about something called intercostals. If that's not anything like Pentecostals, it's intercostals. And what it is in between the ribs, the muscles that are in between the ribs. A lot of us don't really think of those as movable muscles, but they love to expand and they love to compress. They love to go both directions. So let's warm up those intercostals and those bones. And I want you to think of ribs as, not as separate bones. This is like an aspen grove. If you live in Colorado, you know when you look up at the mountains and you see those aspen, especially in the fall, those beautiful yellows and golds. When you see those, you're seeing an organism, not a whole bunch of separate trees. Your ribs are an organism, not separate bones. So we're warming those up, and now I want you to just press in all the way around. Here we go. Let's press in on those ribs. Press in. I want you to feel the bones. We're right along the sternum, which is the chest, the breastbone. Right here, so you're going to just take your fingers and feel that press into that bone. This is good for your endocrine system. And you're going to take those fingers, go ahead and put the knees together. Might as well get a little IT band stretch while we're here. Walk those feet out wide. And so now we're going to work in between the ribs. Okay, so working, in between. Now you're going to find that that musculature actually, it responds, it warms up underneath your fingers. I had a whooping cough before I had COVID. It was like our family got done with whooping cough for 5 months, and then 2 weeks later, COVID was here. That was fun. And anyways, we're all good, so no worries. But I was coughing so much I was throwing my ribs out, because here's something else you should know about ribs. Every time, ribs are not just one long curvy bone. What they are, we already talked about the organism. So if you get injured in a rib over here, if this rib gets out, it's going to compensate over on the other side. It's just the way they're designed. It's a beautiful design. The other thing is, every time they articulate and change direction, even the slightest bit, what you have there is an expansion joint. If you've ever gone to look at a bridge, especially in the West, let's just butterfly wing the legs, just relax. Might as well relax and make our bodies feel good while we're doing this. Actually, this is what I wish everybody would do. This kind of stuff while they're in meetings. You know how many fewer conflicts we'd have if we could just relax our bodies? So every time that we have that articulation or change in direction, even the tiniest, there's a little expansion joint. And that's designed so that your ribs don't break all the time. If we did not have expansion joints in our ribs, You know what would happen to us? We'd be like, yeah, I broke my rib again last Thursday, and I broke it a little bit on Tuesday too. Because the expansion joints allow the ribs to move when there's force that goes the wrong direction. So they can go out like this, they can get jammed, they can come here, and there's also what I call a depressed rib. Comes just like this, and what happens is that's really hard for the body to remediate on its own. And so we work with that in core alignment therapy, but you can also work with it. So I want you to go back to your ribs. We were just doing some warming up things, and I want to take your fingers, a little more than your fingertips, kind of your finger pads, and start doing little circles over your rib bones. Isn't it great that your fingers kind of can cover a few ribs at once? It's kind of like you were designed to do some of this self-massage stuff. So you're working on that bone, and when you run into a spot that's tender, and some of those spots really feel and palpate. One of the first things you learn in massage school is palpation, and that's French for palpation. And so what you do is you find those sore spots, and then you can kind of stretch them and move them out. If sometimes the bone feels like it's pushed up, then you can kind of pull it back apart again. Think of that expansion joint. What do you need to do to make it fit right back in again? Okay, I'm trying to think of something in life that's like that. There's all kinds of things, but they're not coming to mind right now. Okay, so here's another thing that we do with this move is once we get done with this, and this is a good thing to do, you're gonna lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the neck. Let's do this again together. Take a deep breath and lift, opening up those hip flexors. Very good. There's all kinds of variations we can do here. We're not gonna do them. We're just gonna stay focused on those ribs, but let's take another deep breath. Push through the belly. This is nice rib expansion. Push into those ribs, more air. Push into the head. If you want, turn on every muscle. You can turn it on lightly. You don't have to turn it on hard. Depends on what your body needs. Oh, expand those ribs again. And then slowly come on down. Let that belly relax. And we're going to bring the fingers in underneath the ribs, starting right here at the side body. Curl in underneath. Pull out with the fingers. Push in with the palms. Now another thing you can do is take your hands, I'm not moving them, but I'm actually accessing my diaphragm here. I can breathe deep, feel how it pushes my fingers out, and then as I exhale, I'm going to go in a little deeper. Curl in underneath those ribs and just move side to side. Good, I'm going to come up a little bit more, pull out with the fingers, push in with the palms, pull out with the fingers, push in with the palms, little circles all along the sternum. Oh, good. So that's a few of the things that I love for people to do with rib rescue and rib remediation. Another thing that's amazing is just to get going with some breath work. I gotta tell you, I've been doing breath work, I'd hate to say religiously, but I have been doing it every day for about 4 years now, and it has been life-changing. So getting that breath work, getting those rib remediation and rib rescue remedy. Getting that rib rescue remedy going so that your ribs are strong, they're supple, they can move. Here's another thing you should know about this. A lot of people don't breathe deeply and they don't ever move their ribs. So over time, all those little muscles just shorten and atrophy in between the ribs. And you don't want that to happen because here's what happens next is the shoulders start to tighten and curl forwards and they just get so tight. And what I found is it usually starts in the ribs because people haven't been breathing deeply, they're stressed, they're sitting at a computer desk all day, and this needs to open. All right, so hopefully those will be some strategies that'll help you. There's more videos like this at Hands On Bodyworks and WellspringVitality.com, so check it out. I love you guys. Have a great day.